Again, good morning and good afternoon to all of you. Today, next lecture is scope of essential oil as a green pesticide, that is given by Dr. Santosh Kumar Chikeda. He, he is from Council of Scientific Industry Research, Central Institute of Medical and Aromatic Plants, Lucknow. He holds PhD from Haryana Agricultural University, and he is fellow of CSIR SRF for pursuing PhD program, and also recipient of gold medal for PhD work. He was awarded merit scholarship during MSc PhD program. He was awarded as a best presentation award in 5 national conference and seminar. His earlier experience including as a research associate in crop pest surveillance project, senior research fellow in National Innovation on Climate Resilience, then research associate and senior technical officers, and he has published 17 research articles in national and international journal, and he has participated many international and national seminars. And area of research is related to pest management of medical and aromatic plant, integrated pest management, insect ecology, biological control, and assessment of impact of climate change on crop pest interaction. So I request to Dr. Santosh Kumar start your presentation. Oh, your voice is not coming. Santosh Kumar.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Haldar, for giving me an opportunity to give on talk on scope of essential oils as a green pesticides. I am audible, Dr. Haldar?
Audible, start. Oh, again problem.
Use of synthetic pesticide in insect pest control, it has caused a widespread public and scientific concern for public health and environment. And in recent era, due to growing awareness about organic produce and resurgence of biopesticides, there is great scope for botanical pesticides that which are nowadays called as a green pesticides or biopesticides. So there is a scope for essential oils which can be used as a green pesticides. Essential oils are the volatile oils that hello चल रहा नहीं hello
Okay, no problem, you start.
essential oils are the ये वापस सुनाई देता है और मी बोलेला परत ऐकू येतंय
Audible, no problem. Hello.
hello
Okay, audible. You start.
Essential oils are the volatile oils that have strong aromatic components and that give distinct odor and flavor scent to a plant. These byproducts of these are the plant metabolism and commonly referred as secondary metabolites. Essentials are generally found on the glandular health and secretory cavity of plant cells and present on the droplet of fluids in the leaves and stems, barks, flowers, roots, and fruits in the different plants. Further, the essential oils are the complex mixture of monoterpenes,
phenylpropines and sequecyterpenes. Basically, the essential oils have the insecticidal activity, and they can be used as a repellent, fumigant, antifeedant, and attractant activities against broad spectrum of insect pests. So, by our institute in 2000, we started a Aroma mission for rural empowerment through cultivation, processing, value addition, and marketing of aromatic plants. So under this mission, CSR, CMAP, NBRI, and Triple IM Jammu, IHBT Palampur, and NIST Johra, and URDP Pune is involved for the promotion of the cultivation of MAPs in growing most of the states of India. So this Aroma mission includes supply of high quality raw material and essential in national and international market, development of short duration varieties, and enhancement of farmers' income through buyback produce policy, and dissemination of up-to-date information of medicinal and aromatic plants up to the farmer, and encouraging the aroma-based industries related to fragrance, perfumery, food flavors, pharmaceuticals, and cosmetics, and pesticides also. So in this aroma mission, the aromatic crops are promoted to be cultivation in unproductive and marginal wastelands, and the generation of self-employment among women and unemployed youths by the organizing skill development trainings in various regions. So crops promoted under Aroma mission are the lavender, rosemary, lemongrass, pomarose, ashwagandha, citronella, shatavar, mint, vetiver, ocimum, patchouli, salvia, rose, wild marigold, jammu, and valerian. So these crops are being promoted under various states of India: Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Jammu Kashmir, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Himachal, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu, and Maharashtra, and northeastern states of India. So in this mission, during last few years, we have achieved a total 5,500 hectare area under aromatic plants, and further the 700 tons of essential oils have been produced during last few years. And in the meanwhile, we have provided a technical assistance to the beneficiary farmers of the project areas, and we have further developed buyback policies for the farmers by creating farmer industry tie-up, and value addition of essential oils to sustain the competition in the market. And in this mission, further we have also awareness programs near about more than 40,000, and we have developed 24 improved varieties, and value added products also we have developed under this mission. So I will discuss some aromatic plants which have pesticidal value in pest management, and I will start from lemongrass. Lemongrass is generally used as an insect repellent in pest management, and it is also used as a green tea, and it has also activity of antifungal and antimicrobial. The main constituent in the lemongrass is citral, which has a repellent activity against insect pests. And the improved varieties of lemongrass are Krishna, Kaveri, Sim Swarna, and Sim Shikhar. And regarding the description of this, aroma grass is a perennial aromatic grass, and oil extracted from these leaves and it can be grown under warm and humid climate under North Indian subtropical conditions. Further, well-drained soil and with pH of 7 to 8.5 are very favorable. And this lemongrass can also be grown in rain-fed conditions. And basically, this crop is grown for soil conservation. And further, this lemongrass is planted by slips, and under irrigated condition, near about 40,000 slips are required. And under rain-fed condition, 70 to 75,000 slips are required. And regarding the irrigation, during summer it requires just 4 to 5 irrigations, and in winter and rainy season it requires 3 irrigations. So harvesting is generally done by cutting of the leaves by implement, and there is 3 to 4 cuttings in a year, and average oil yield is 250 kg oil per hectare. And nowadays the rate for lemongrass oil is near about 600 to 900 rupees per kg. So under Aroma Mission, we have introduced the distillation units of lemongrass under tribal area of Chhattisgarh. And here you can see this that the women of that tribal area are getting benefit from the oil production from lemongrass. And there is a scope to start the startup by taking the essential oil of this lemongrass from this area, so that we have developed many clusters of essential oil in tribal areas. So if a person is going to start entrepreneurship, he can collect the oil from these areas, and he can get the raw material at a very good price, and so that this farmer will also get a benefit. So next crop is the mentha, and generally in India on large scale mentha arvensis is grown, and India is the largest producer and exporter of menthol mint in the world. So menthol mint is also having some insecticidal property, and in other parts of the world it is being used as a repellent for storage pest management. So uses of Japanese mentha is that menthol crystals. It is used as a menthol crystals, and it is used in pan masala, pain relevant cream gel, cough syrup, toothpaste, respiratory medicine, bakery, condiments, and antifidants, and insecticidal against stored insects. The dominant species is the Mentha arvensis. In Mentha arvensis, the main content is menthol, and mentha in peppermint mentha, it's the piperitone, menthol, menthol, and menthaferum are the contents. And in spearmint, the carbon is the main content, and in bergamot, the linalool acetate is the main content. So the main improved cultivars of menthol millet is Sim Kranti and Sim Koshi, which is grown on large scale in Uttar Pradesh. And about peppermint, Sim Simap Patra, Sim Indus, and Sim Maduras are the major growing varieties. And spearmint, Neera, Neer, Kalka, Arka are the growing varieties. And it is a annual seasonal shrub, and which is harvested around up to after 70 to 75 days, and it is grown throughout the year. But in Uttar Pradesh, it is grown as a short duration crop, which is planted in March to April and harvested in June, July. And it can be grown in subtropical condition. And it is the propagation of mint is done by suckers and runners, and it needs heavy irrigation. So 8 to 10 irrigations at 10 days interval is required for growing this crop. And the source of oil is the leaves are the main source of oil, and the harvesting is done about after 70 days, and the oil is extracted by hydrosteam distillation of oil extraction. So the average yield of mint is around 60 to 65 kg per acre, and the rate for per kg is 900 kg per oil. So again, the next crop is citronella grass, and it is a very well-known aromatic crop which is used as a mosquito repellent. So further it has been also used in many cosmetics, soaps, and perfumery industries. And the main chemical constituent is citronellal and geraniol. And the improved varieties are Simjiva, Bio 13, Manjusha, Jal Pallavi, and it is a perennial grass. And after planting, after planting, after 4 to 5 months, the first cutting is obtained, and afterwards subsequent cuttings are obtained after 3 months. And on an average, the yield is 250 kg of oil per hectare. And from this crop, net return is 150 lakhs, 1,50,000. Sorry. And generally, this crop requires very less irrigation. Again, the Pamarosa grass, it smells like rose, and it is grown in the saline soil. And mostly in the Kutch area of Gujarat, this grass has been grown. And it is also having insect repellent property, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, high-grade perfumery, and synthesis of aromatic chemicals. The main chemical constituents are geraniol, and the improved variety includes Tripta, Vaishnavi, Simharsh, PRC1, Trishna, Simjiva, Bio 13, Manjusha. Further, it is also a perennial grass, and flowers and leaves are the source of essential oil. And it can be grown in tropical and subtropical climate. And the sandy loam soils are very good for this. And it is propagated by seeds. Near about 5 to 6 kg seeds are required, and 10 to 12 kg is required for broadcasting. And when there is 50% flowering, the crop can be harvested, and through hydro distillation, the oil can be extracted, and around 150 kg of oil is obtained from a hectare. So this is one of our farmer in Kutch area of Gujarat. He grows Pamarosa in saline soils, and he had a very good production of Pamarosa oil, and he exports the Pamarosa oil to some countries. So next, this vetiver grass. Basically, this grass is grown on large scale in waterlogged conditions, and near the rivers, this grass can be grown, and it is also having a good insect repellent activity. And it is also being used in high class perfumery, and it has antifungal, antibacterial, anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory. And it is also been used in pan masala, soft drinks, beverage, and further it is also grown to stabilize the soil and to control soil erosion. And the main constituent in this vetiver grass is the valerianol, and this is an annual grass, and up to 2-meter height it grows, and the oil is obtained from the root source as an essential oil, and it can be grown in throughout the India except temperate climate. And just once in a month it requires irrigation, and about 15 to 25 kg oil is obtained from a hectare.
Dr. Santosh Kumar.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Santosh Kumar. More emphasis
Yes.
on extraction and other method related to entrepreneurship. Go through. Okay.
So this is this. You can see the roots. Roots are used for the extraction of oil of the vetiver grass. So again, tulsi is also very well known as an insect repellent crop, and it is also used in many perfumery industry, aroma industry, and also used against store insect pests. And the main constituent is the linalool and citral methyl sevicol. And the improved varieties of our institute are Sim Soumya, Sim Jyoti, and Sim Sharda. And basically this crop is propagated by seeds and after raising the nursery, and about 100 to 125 kg oil is obtained from a hectare. So again, Pacholi is also used as an insect repellent crop, and the oil of Pacholi is used as an essential oil in pest management. And chamomile is also a mosquito repellent. Essential oil of chamomile is also used as a insect repellent for mosquito, and it also used as a herbal tea and cosmetics, shampoo, pharmaceuticals, perfumery, mosquito repellent, and mouthwash. So this chamomile can be propagated by seeds, and around 4 to 5 kg essential oil is obtained from a hectare, and the market rate for the chamomile oil is 40,000 rupees per kg. And geranium is also a very popular nowadays, and it smells like rose, and the rate for the geranium oil is 10,000 to 14,000 for per kg. And regarding some other crops, shatavari is also grown for medicinal purpose, and around 7 lakh income is obtained from an acre. And two species of shatavari are grown, yellow shatavari and white shatavari. And yellow shatavari is very popular in Ayurvedic industry. So this is one of our farmers in Maharashtra. Last year he obtained 7 lakhs per hectare under irrigated conditions in Maharashtra. So these are some other crops which are also grown on large scale and having a very economic value. So ashwagandha, lavender, salvia, rosemary, artemisia, wild marigold. So regarding the extraction of the essential oil, our institute has developed the hydro steam distillation units. So this you can see the small unit for marginal farmers, and this is the large unit of 500 kg capacity of herbage. And further, during last 2-3 years back, we have developed a mobile distillation unit, so that if a farmer is not having the distillation unit, the farmer in the field, so somebody can own this type of mobile distillation unit, and whenever there is a crop, he can take this unit to the farmer's field and extract the oil and extract the oil from the maps. So this is the distillation unit installed under Aroma Mission, tribal area of Nilgiri Hills of Tamil Nadu. So basically, we promoted the cultivation of lemongrass in this Nilgiri Hills of Tamil Nadu. And these are some technologies of essential oils of CSI CIMAT, and MOS-X is a technology based basically a mosquito repellent. So this technology we have for licensing, and this is developed from the aromatic plants, which I have discussed previously. And this is moss spray. This is one of the very popular product of our institute, and this technology has been licensed to many companies from South India, and they are earning good amount from this technology. This moss spray, it is prepared from the aromatic grasses which I discussed earlier. These are the technologies transferred to some companies regarding the mosquito repellent. It is used as a room spray, and it is prepared from the grasses, different grasses. And this is a mosquito repellent agarbatti, which is prepared from the aromatic grasses. And few days back we transferred this technology to young startups. Again, moss away is the repellent cream which is used as a mosquito repellent. So, basically the institutes working on maps in India are the CSIR CMAP and Directorate of Medicinal Aromatic Plant Research, National Medicinal Plant Board, State Medicinal Plant Board, and Ministry of Ayush. These all institutes provide the various schemes and information regarding aromatic plants in India. And further, there is one app. If anybody wants to learn the know the prices of different aromatic plants and medicinal plants, we can sell on this application. Each Arak is the e-channel for marketing of maps. So CSR Aroma Mission is also promoted in the northeast area of the India, and a few days back we installed distillation unit under Aroma Mission in Assam, and we have a collaboration with this university in Assam. So this is some activities which were carried out in northeast part of the India. This in last year in Assam area also we carried out some activities under Aroma Mission for promotion of the aromatic plants. So if students who want to start the entrepreneurship, they can contact our institute regarding the technology licensing. And further, we have special policies for the startups and very low cost of charges we are charging, and we are training the students regarding the establishment of unit, and timely we are providing information regarding the production and raw material and everything regarding the production. Hello. Thank you.
Okay. So Dr. Santosh Kumar given very nice presentation on essential oil use as a entrepreneurship for the pest management, and it is also known as green pesticide because it's taken from the plants. That's why it is known as green by pesticide. And it's also told about the high quality of raw material, essential oils, and also tell about tulsi and the geranium, satauri, ashwagandha can be used as a essential oil for the pest management. So thank you.
Basically, sir, nowadays there is a huge scope because government is promoting cultivation of aromatic and medicinal plants in barren land where nothing can come, where the grasses can come with good production with very less amount of irrigation. So there is scope we can encourage the startups to what they can establish their essential oil based byproducts, and so that the raw material can be collected from these different clusters of India.
Okay. Then some question is coming from audience. First question is what is the requirement for starting of the entrepreneurship through essential oil?
So
which instrument and how many budget is required? Minimum small entrepreneurship development.
So basically, we provide all technical information and the technical assistance with respect to distillation unit, and regarding entrepreneurship development, there is some instruments or their production unit is required that we provide in hands-on training at our institute, and it is basically based on the amount of oil which the person is going to acquire and how much quantity is going to produce. Depending on that, it varies.
Very nice. Then again, one question that is not related to this: any provision for funding to project on medicinal plant from your institute in educational institute?
Basically, we provide assistance with respect to establish technical assistance we provide, in which we provide the distillation units to the farmers, and for startups we provide technical guidance. And regarding the fundings, NABARD is providing funding for establishment of the unit, and state medicinal board is also providing some funding in many states.
Okay, okay. Very nice. Then again, one question is coming. Any government fund available for supporting such entrepreneurship?
Uh, NABARD is providing for startups, for basically for BSc agriculture students, NABARD is providing. And
Okay.
again, I think agriculture business course is also going on, which also some financial subsidy for new startups.
Okay. Then I request Dr. Om Prakash is here. Hello, Dr. Om Prakash.
Yes, sir, I'm here, sir.
Yeah. You start your video. So I
Yes, sir.
request to Dr. Om Prakash, please give the vote of thanks to Dr. Santosh Kumar.
Sorry, what to tell about sir him? So he was my senior, sir, just 1 year senior to in studies. But now he is working in entirely different area. So being entomologist, and he's chosen a career in the essential oil, and now he's working how essential oils and aromatic plants can be used in the management of pests. So it's my pleasure to give vote of thanks to him, being senior and being colleague, and also today's guest of lecture. So thank you so much, Santosh sir, for being here with us and enlightening to the
Thank you.
students about usage of medicinal plant, how they can be grown in, and how effective you can use the land. Those are not used in agriculture. So that underutilized land can come under the aromatics and medicine plants. So it can help to the like to conserve the soil, water, as well as the prevent the erosion of the soil. So it is one way it is benefiting to the farm, beneficial to the farmers, along with the additional revenue if they are able to extract by using the distillation chamber or something if they establish. So it will be the additional to them. Otherwise, they can use as a raw material. They can sell to the others. So those are buying and making the oils or making the other products. So I think it was something different than other what we have seen since 3 days here online like seminar. So this is the area where I think India or the people need to work more, and because and being a green pesticide, so as we are know the biocontrol, pheromone technology, and now essential oil also can add one more component in the integrated pest management. So thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us and our attendee about the essential oils being used as a green pesticide. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Om Prakash. So today is completing 5 days of this training program, and we have not any closing session and other. So I request Dr. R. Raghavan sir, please give some related to this
I
training
may,
program.
sir, sorry to interrupt, sir. I may ask Varghese sir's opinion about
Again, second.
Yeah, sir, you can ask.
First, Raghavan sir. You unmute, sir, unmute. Yeah,
Thank
start, sir.
you, Dr. Haldar, and the person. I mean, we had wonderful sessions in the past 5 days, and all the speakers gave very good speech, and it was very informative. What I want to just say about this is, in the first lecture, Dr. Varghese gave the talk about plant clinics. So what I feel is the youngsters can start off with plant clinics, and from plant clinics they can venture into these other products, so that when a farmer comes to the plant clinic, he is not only advised about his problem, he can also get the medicine for the plants from the same source and from experts. So I think such ventures, such things will go a long way in not only helping the young graduates, but also the farmers who will be benefited with the technical assistance from these entrepreneurs. So I thank you very much, and I hope the youngsters will be benefit by this conference or this webinar, and I hope they start they become entrepreneurs soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Then again, I request Dr. Ibrahim Varghese, sir, so take some related to this training program.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Haldar. As Dr. Rangeshwaran rightly said, every BSc graduate should have a plant health clinic. He can have a small thing in his house, or he can have a nice hospital clinic, or he can have a virtual clinic, but he should be an advisor. So while learning itself, while you're graduating, every course should be taken seriously. And you need to study and put in your database of the place where you're going to work. And slowly you can become input dealer, input manufacturer. And of course, I assure you, all of you will become crorepati's, So count banega crorepati, jo plant health clinic, usko jo shuru karega na, only those people will become crorepati's. I assure you that it is in a matter of 5 years, 6 years. And Santosh Kumar's lecture also was very good, so that was one area which we did not cover in the last 5 days, and Dr. Haldar very beautifully planned it. Even that was put in. And when you come to this essential oils, suppose you cannot have a distillation unit and etc. You get these oils. See, medicinal crops, aromatic, they are two distinct, but they come under one head. Now these aromatic compounds, aromatic oils are available, and to keep our dairy cows, free from house flies and other things while milking, I gave a simple solution: citronella oil. 2-3 hours, the house flies are away, so the milkman can conveniently go about milking. It's and what I'm saying is, even from essential oils, you can formulate and start your own inputs. So it is possible. So I think if we can put all the notes together, come out as a publication, edited by the university and Dr. Haldar, it'll be good. And all these can be uploaded as YTube presentations, so that it is continuously available for a longer period. So that is something which you should think of. And the next time you have an AHEP program, you should also try to bring in deficiencies also as an entrepreneur model. See, deficiencies makes the plant susceptible to diseases and pests. So that and the pest nutrition and pest management integration in entrepreneurship, as one of the programs would be a nice thing to do. And another important area which probably you can think of is, and I heard many students asking that question, the regulatories. See, I want to start something. Whom should I approach? What are the laws of the land? Okay, and I want to have a pheromone trap made. Okay, if I am using it for mass trapping or surveillance, I don't need a license. But if I'm using it as idle, then I need a clearance by CIB. Some essential oils, most of them are repellents, need not go to CIB. No, but the moment you say it is idle, then apart from that regulation, how do I start off? NABARD, how do I apply for a loan? Then detailed project report presentation. See, detailed project report presentation is always coordinated by a good economist. A good economist of your university should help tell the students how to prepare this. There's a logical way of doing it. How to budget, how to prepare the overheads. Depreciation. Yesterday, Richa was showing depreciation as capital depreciation. All that, how to do. See, these regulatory modes, then the government, a state may have a different law. The Sikkim will say, oh, I'm organic, so you have to follow that. So regulatories, government rules, government regulatories should be a program, another program of learning, which is not ordinarily taught in a regular syllabus. Okay, so I would suggest to Dr. Haldar, have one program like this. And Santosh Kumar, my congratulations. You have got into CSIR.
Thank you.
Laboratory and working. It's a very good place. I've gone to that laboratory next to Cockrell. That's the place, isn't it? Cockrell alligator farm is there. So that's the place I've gone there. So good. See, our students are all spreading all over the. Doctors are coming to us and we are going elsewhere. Okay. So congratulations to all of you, to the university, all the speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Then last point is that is vote of thanks from me. So in this, why choose this training program? Because most of the previously any training that is related totally to theoretical and related to insecticide, chemical insecticide. So that's why I choose this only for UG and PG students. That is related to small industries can be made. So that's why we take a 5 technical session, in which first 2 lectures on all technical session. First given by sir, that is my mentor, and is very nice presentation on plant health cleaning. Then second given by Dr. Bhakta Shilam sir. Then second Dr. M. Nagesh sir given the lecture on the mass production of nematode for pest control. Then next given by the Dr. R. Ranganathan sir, that is on Bacillus thuringiensis production used as a pest management. Then in third day, Dr. Om Prakash Naik giving the lecture on mass production of parasitoid. Then myself given on the botanical pesticide as a entrepreneurship development. Then yesterday, Dr. Richa Vasni given on the mass production of predators. Then Dr. Anil Manjankar given on the structure of pest control. That is also good and separate and is essential for all household pest control. Then today is 2 lecture. One is Dr. Sundari Asem. She is also very interesting and that is related to medical, but coming in agriculture. That is also very good thought and that is positive for agriculture. And last is given by Dr. Santosh Kumar. That is also very good because that is also green pesticide. So all our lecture are very nice. And I also thanks to Dr. Abraham Varghese sir. That is my mentor. So thank you, sir. And you have attended regularly. 5 days you have attended regularly all the classes and all the sessions. And next, I thanks to Dr. Ranganathan sir. That is also regularly attend all the lectures and programs. Thank you, sir. Then thanks to Dr. Santosh Kumar, Dr. Om Prakash. Om Prakash is also helping to all related to this lecture and other. So thank you, Dr. Om Prakash, Santosh Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I also
thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
I also thanks to our honorable sir, Dr. VC sir, that is also related to entomology. So that is also regularly promoted me to achieve the more and more related to entomology. And also thanks to our Dean Madam, Dr. Indra Sangtham, that is also helping to all program related to any training and also other program. Also DI sir and Dr. Firoz sir is also our as a associate program coordinator of this NAHE project. So also thanks to Dr. Firoz. And last I announced, sir, again one conference is start a national conference on agriculture resource management for Atmanirbhar Bharat. That will be start in the 17, 18, 19 at here. So you also attend all the participant and panelists. So attend this program. That is also very nice, and that is related to Atmanirbhar, because this also starting this year, because most of the this year Northeast persons also all are depend upon self-dependent. Means self means that is dependent only our own product, not on market and other. Most of the families having one vegetable garden and one poultry farm and a small pond for fish. So totally depend our self product. So that's why we start this at as Atmanirbhar Bharat for agriculture resource management. So thank you, sir. Thank you to all. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.